Lito, Trinidad. I grew up in China. I was born in Japan, in Camp Lester, Okinawan Marine Base. I came around into the States around 2007. I was a Marine kid, so I always was moving around. So I never really had a stable group of friends. So with that knowledge in my mind, I didn't feel the need to really just go out and try to be like social too much until like a certain point in my life. Gaming was just always kind of like, it was always there. You know, it's not like it was. I'm not gonna say it's not my escape because I think that's ridiculous a little bit. You know, I gotta be rooted in reality a little bit. But video games was just always there. It's always a consistent hobby, and it was always just whenever I'm bored, when I'm bored at school or something, I just went home. I booted up Roblox. It just was always there for me because I moved around so much. So when Contender was first opening up, they ran a mock Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournament, and I was there because I got hired, freshly hired. Why not just play at the tournament and stuff like that? And I met Dylan there. Dylan and Cypher, who was another TO, one of ours, was there to just kind of like look at the place, I think.
How did I meet Lito? We played a set of Smash Brothers. Lito was playing Snake, and I was playing Fox. And I do have this very specific memory of Lito turning over to me and going,
Man, I don't even play this game like that. I'm here to have fun and smile.
and I was like, all right, dude. Because usually whenever people say, I don't play this game, it's like, all right, dude. And we started playing.
Respectfully, I destroyed Dylan. All right. I think me and Dylan just both had the same brain. Like when we first met each other, we literally was just like, I play fighting games. Oh,
I play fighting games
too. And I'm like, cool. Starting in general, just talking more because of that, like a little common interest until later, eventually I was just like, someday we got really close and we're just like, yo, Dylan, wanna help me out with this shit? Cause I'm trying to get this shit going. He's like, yeah, sure. And then
There's
Mid Hudson Mayhem. It's our pride and joy, a little baby.
It just, you get to a point where you're playing fighting games, things like that, where you want to fight against other people. And for a while, you'll convince yourself that there really isn't that much. And it is like a niche interest, but it's a growing niche.
No, there was no real planning. I really just threw myself into it, and I met Dylan like along the way. There was someone else before we went into before we called ourselves Mid Hudson Mayhem. Beforehand, we just went by Contender Hudson Valley Fighting Game Community, like essentially for a little bit.
We called it the Contender Epic Monthly because that was what the company wanted us to call it, which is a very funny name, which we would not have called it. We started doing that, and it was kind of like a small community. And as time went on, it grew. But I remember like some of the first tournaments were like, oh yeah, for Tekken we have like 4 people. It's a round robin. I remember grand finals one time was just me and my friend just like shooting the shit at. Like it was a glorified casual set. It was really funny. Which different now, we have like at least like 18 to 20 people per bracket, which is a pretty good amount for a fighting game tournament. It's kind of work away from work in a sense that like there's my fun job, and then there's the job I do that makes me money. Which, mind you, love that job. I love working as a social worker. It's what I studied. It's what I did. But it is really fun to just kind of sit down, play a bunch of video games, and make a space for people to also play those video games at.
Right now, 40 people coming to our event is something that we expect. But when we started, that would be like, no,
That was a god.
that was, how are we getting this many people here? And it's just been so interesting seeing like, as time goes on, through word of mouth, through just like searching stuff online, people just end up gravitating towards this. And the more people that did, the faster it became that more and more people ended up coming.
Each year when we establish MHM name, like the month we do it, we have a giant picture. We take a giant picture before the biggest bracket of the night, and we did a comparison from our first year of doing it to our second.
Almost
double. Straight up double. It was the freakiest thing ever.
And we were missing a bunch of people that day too.
Yeah, and it wasn't even all of them.
It
It grew so much that we can't help but be like, damn, we did this for real. Like,
we have people coming up from like Connecticut, people coming down from Albany, people coming up from NYC, like people coming from around a lot of the area just for some fighting games.
So what we did is we established the Mid Hudson Mayhem name. We made a Discord server, made a whole bunch of social media accounts and things like that. We went full haywire. We got a logo, and we literally kept doing what we kept doing. We kept hosting weeklies, we kept hosting the monthlies, and we literally just kept going until it eventually just blew up in our faces. And we have no idea how the hell that happened. It's-
Over time, more and more people are like, oh, it's another place where I could go, where I could be. It's not, you're not just at your houses, you're not just at your job. Like it's another place to exist in. You don't really have to be in either of those states. It's that third place that you can go to. I think being
Yeah.
able to give that to our community has been a big boon for them.
Yeah.
And just in general, like the idea of community. Like you get a lot of friends through this. People who we've been doing this for like what, 3 years now?
Coming up.
3 years, and you just make a lot of really good friends from it.
For me, well, it's my social circle because you have like the one like big link, right, of fighting games, and you'll pretty much like never run out of anything to talk to with someone here because like you could talk about the game for like hours. Like it's just they're so complex and there's so many things about it. Just like training with people over time, that builds like community, like, you know, going for like the post-tournament meal, that kind of stuff.
I think the 1v1 nature helps a lot for that.
1v1 nature.
You know, like in martial arts,
Yeah.
like you can compare it to like a group of like people doing karate, and like you find you get to know people like on a specific level, not just like on what they do in the games and like who they are. You end up talking to them a lot, so like it kind of you kind of get that bond through
The bond of
experience.
mutual growth.
mutual growth. There we go.
That's the play. A lot of time with, especially what's different, what makes it different from a lot of other esports communities. I work here. I've now had my hand in a bunch of different various esports communities. The thing with the fighting game communities in general is you're alone.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot blame anyone but yourself. And there has to be a weird sense of humility, but yet still have to carry your own ego within the fighting game community, which kind of stems from the arcade era, you
Yeah.
know?
The roots are in the arcade, which you had to show up and play in person. You know, back then, the home ports were not as good as the arcade. Like, if you wanted to play against people, you had to go to where the people were at, right? Nowadays, it's a little different. It's very online. People are sitting on their computer at home, and like they might have their friend groups that they play with there, but everybody else is just, you know, a stranger, right? When you run things in person, you bridge that gap from stranger to another peer.
That's why the fighting game community is so special, is because they really prefer and like value like the offline play. Whereas like, you know, you can queue up for like Valorant, Fortnite, Apex, like whatever kind of like online game that you're playing, League, but it's all online. Like you're not like interacting with anybody like besides like voice chat and like text chat or whatever. It's just really important because I feel like the face-to-face part is like really like the big aspect of the SGC that's really important for new players.
People get intimidated because they think they might not be good enough, or they think they're not like going to win the tournament or whatever. Just show up and play, because there's much more to it than just winning and losing. You know, the social sort of aspect of it is a big part of it. So, and you only really get that when you show up and when, you know, you interact with these people who have similar interests to you.
Got people from lower class, got people from middle class, got people from upper class, got racial diversity, sexuality diversity, gender diversity, and literally everyone. I think if you look in a fighting game tournament and you just kind of look at it from a known person's perspective, all these people should not be with each other. But since the fact that, fighting games just brings it all together, that one little knit like project together, and
Things
it's
like
a
this are kind of remind you that most people, just generally, we aren't all that different from one another. We have so much in common that we just don't know, just because we don't interact with one another all that much. But once you do, and the more that you do, you really make some really amazing bonds.
yeah,
And
and all comes from pressing goddamn buttons.